Hey, how's it going? It's Devin with Devin's Card House, and I'm here with a very special interview with Sherrick is his name, the man behind Artemis. You just told me how to pronounce it, but
Artemilis.
Artemiles Strongbow on YouTube. So thank you for joining me, Sherrick, to do this interview about the Magi-Nation Kickstarter. And I should have clarified it yesterday in the video that I made, but this is the Kickstarter hasn't officially started. It's just the beginning before it starts. It's just on Kickstarter. So and there'll be a
Yeah,
link.
the sign
Yeah.
up for notifications is up.
Okay. Yeah, and I have I'll have the link in the comments to go check out the Kickstarter now. So first I wanted to just get into I sent you these questions earlier and I'm just gonna go through the questions as they go, but it can
Sounds
evolve
great.
as we go. But so how did you get involved initially with Magi-Nation? Take it away.
So it's got kind of a convoluted story. I am, for my day job, a prosecuting attorney. And I was graduating back in 2020 from law school. Um, and my close friend was running a business making custom dice and that was the Arcanist Armory, but he had me on paper as a business partner giving legal and economic advising, um, that sort of thing, uh, maybe for 1% of profit if it ever came up. That, um, but he ended up, under a series of circumstances, passing away back in 2020. And then I was the only owner of record of the store. And I wanted to make sure that his projects got fulfilled and that some of his prototypes could keep getting made out to the public because he had really cool ideas and I wanted to keep his legacy alive as long as it wasn't losing me money. Because as an attorney for my day job, I didn't need it to make money. I just needed it not to lose
Yeah.
money. But I found myself working for about 20 hours a week for the store to keep everything running. And so if I was keeping things at break even, I decided I needed a sanity project, for myself, so that if I wasn't making money, I at least knew I was doing something else. And I bonded with the old store owner over Magi-Nation. Uh, we had played together. He had played with his siblings when he was younger. I had as well, and we still played with friends. So we looped into a bigger group playing Magi-Nation. So I decided that it was an appropriate sanity project to go out to the community and get bulk donations in or at cost for bulk, and then start assembling decks for any region so people could try new regions, so people that hadn't played the game before could play. And I build decks and put at least one rare in each if possible. I think Weave and Kaibars, usually it's not possible because even the bulk costs 40 or 50 bucks per deck out on eBay, which is not where I'm buying, but it's a good example of why sometimes not every deck has a rare, but most of them do.
Yeah.
And I'll build the deck strategies around those. And I started making these decks and selling them, and people kept donating them, kept selling big bulk lots to the store, and I just kept in my free time making decks and selling. And I ended up selling, before even talking to 2i, I had sold about $310 decks, which
Yeah.
ended up being $3,000 in sales. Um, and then at the time, I was working as a um, consultant attorney to the judges for my region. Um, so I would help them decide on what to do on different cases that they came out with, whatever. And as an attorney directly for the state, I couldn't do paid legal work for anyone else. And that became known in the community. And some people that were looking to buy out the rights and also knew I was a fan and that I couldn't charge money if they asked me questions, decided to come and ask me questions. So they asked me to look at some stuff, and their offer didn't work out because neither 2i nor the company that has the show rights really had any interest in dealing with anything small, 5 figures,
Hmm.
whatnot. It just wasn't worth their time. Um, but when the old store owner had passed away on one of his dice runs, there was a cease and desist order from a different company that had a patent on the shape of the die in question. And within 1 hour of me talking to them, because I wanted to find out what the requirements of the cease and desist were so that I didn't violate them, um, within an hour of talking to them, I actually worked out a contract to be able to continue making the old design and just punt them a $1 per set royalty.
Hmm.
And I kind of wondered after dealing with the Magi-Nation side if something similar might work in modern work, because at this point I've run 5 or 6 successful Kickstarters for different dice and RPG supplements. And so I went out to 2i after those negotiations had broken down. I talked to the person. He said, "Yeah, I'm out of here, but feel free to talk to them if you want." And with that, I I reached out to them, and over the course of about 2 years, talking with 2i's current board, because it wasn't super high priority for them since nothing was going anywhere. I just talked back and forth with them, looking at what might or might not be doable with Kickstarters starting to go up for games. Especially this happened about when the Avatar RPG really spiked on Kickstarter,
Hmm.
so that got a little of their attention. They were drawn to that I had sold thousands of dollars of cards through the store, and that there was still a current market going strong for Magi-Nation, but they were still kind of on the fence. And that brings us to where you saw the early stages
Yes.
of the
Okay. So, and
promos.
I wanted to get in here because
Yeah.
I'm sure you watched the video, and so I saw it on Reddit, and this is where I come in, or I
Mm-hmm.
saw it initially, where you announced this, and it was amazing to me. I was really excited for it, but my only holdback was just like I didn't really get the Excel spreadsheet thing. I didn't really
Uh-huh.
get what you were doing there, but I what I said was like as soon as this hits Kickstarter, as soon as this is like a little more official, I'm in. But I wanted to ask you, so what was going on with this initial fundraiser thing? And it sounds like
Yeah.
it was to get 2i or I2, sorry. What is it? Is it 2i?
So
Yeah.
their original company name was Internet Interactive Imagination Corp.
Okay.
And they restructured when they ended up having less money coming in from a corporation to an LLC. So their current company is 2i LLC.
2i. Yeah, yeah, okay. Okay. Uh,
Um, so yeah, on the fundraiser. And first, I want to start off by saying I fully understand why you and others felt that this looked sketchy. In fact, as an attorney, while I was in law school, I studied for and took and passed the certified fraud examiners examination. And I know some of the red flags to look for. Um, and I know, and I did not feel at all slighted when people are like, I'm not sure about this. Um, so what was going on in the background is that 2i said, well, one step back. In about February or March, they finally let me look through the cookie jar contract, um, which they are not attorneys and didn't really um, ever look through it because they didn't expect to do anything
hmm,
after shutting down other than collecting royalties. But looking through the contract, and I can't say specifics because I'm under an NDA with them on their contract,
for sure, yeah.
but um, the sky level is 2i never actually lost the right to make their card game under the contract.
Okay.
Um, there are other rights that they gave away, like people pop up frequently saying, "Oh, I want a new TV show or something." 2i is washing their hands of that. That is not going to happen at this time unless the successor of Cookie Jar decides to make a new TV show. That is rights that are entirely in their court and whatever. But 2i does have the rights to make their own card games still, and keep up their trademarks if they want to, this, that, and the other. So discovering that, they were still on the fence of whether or not there was even enough market to do it, because at a minimum we need at least $10,000 to make even one deck, because that's the floor for what it takes to make 2,000 copies of something. At good enough quality to not get laughed out of the market. So they said, look, we don't have any money for advertising. We don't have any money for prototyping. We don't have this, that, or the other. If you can go to the community and raise $10,000 over the course of 6 months, then there will be enough interest to at least try this experiment. And so before even signing that initial contract with 2i, I went kind of behind the scenes to some of the bigger spenders in the community that like buy at auctions that the store runs and whatnot, just to make sure I wasn't going to fall flat on my face out of the gates. And so I had hammered down about $3,000 from some of the biggest people in the community. And I was like, day one, I'll start with about 3,000 and I'll go into the 6 months. And if I'm at 9,200, 9,500 at the end, I'll pocket the rest of the money, pocket fund the rest, just so that we can have this opportunity to relaunch and see where it goes. And that was kind of my expectation, because there's an active Discord of about 500 people, or at least there was at the time. It's swollen to about 750 now. And maybe 700 people on Facebook, whatever. So I went into it expecting it to take about the whole 6 months to get the $10,000. And I told 2i, I'm going to need a couple of things, because you're not promising upfront that you're going to do anything. So I'm willing to pay dollar for dollar match in gift cards. So effectively, people are buying gift cards to the game store. If this all goes under, they can at least buy games from the store with their pledge.
Okay, and this is for gift cards to Arcanist Armory.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
And I was like, I'm willing to do that. I was like, up to $10,000, I'm willing to front from my game store. People can come in and buy Ticket to Ride or Villainous or Dice or whatever, so they're not entirely out whatever money they put in. And behind the scenes, I was not planning on even collecting money unless we hit 10,000, because that was just easier. But and there wasn't really a reason to. But then the other terms that I said, I will do that. I will put out our gift cards dollar to dollar match. I want you to allow me to make 3 new custom promos to show that the digital work can be done now 20 years later. Things haven't broken down to the point where they can't be replicated. And also so that these backers are going to get something. So even if you don't end up going forward, we'll get these printed as long as we get above like the $2,000 threshold that we need to print specifically these. And then we will use these as prototypes to test out printing from different companies so that we can hammer down which one to use for the final price quotes for the Kickstarter.
That's really smart.
And I said, this $10,000 that gets raised, if we raise it, will go to advertising, prototypes, and just getting ready for the Kickstarter, so that there is a fund to do that. And they said, yeah, that sounds great. And they authorized the making of the 3 new promos, plus anyone that pre-orders during the pre-pledge campaign. I shouldn't say pre-order, because you're not actually buying Trader's Reach yet. You're getting gift card promos that get thrown in based on your tier. So if you pledge $100, you get 3 free promos. If you pledge $300, you get the 3 new promos, plus you get them in foil. But you also get a 10% off discount code that works for life to the Arcanist Armory for any new Magi-Nation product that gets uploaded. So as long as our partnership with them lasts, people can use their "we were there at the founding" promo code to get 10% off new
So,
stuff.
just a couple quick questions here. So,
Yeah,
and this is the question. So, these are official Magi-Nation cards.
correct.
Awesome.
Um,
So these are the first official Magi-Nation cards that have been printed in like 20 years, right?
yeah,
Isn't that's
and
insane?
the contract with 2i said specifically on it, we would get to design them, we would get to get them printed as long as there was enough funding to do it, and they would be official Magi-Nation promos, and then it was up to them if they become tournament legal, because they didn't want to give us carte blanche to say, whatever you put on a card is now the
Yeah.
the new Exodia of
Yeah.
Magi-Nation.
Hmm.
Um, and that was fair too.
And then
So
one other quick question here.
yeah,
It's not on the list, but is that can people still get on this uh, uh what do you call
spreadsheet,
it? A
the
spreadsheet. Yeah.
pre-pledge
The
campaign.
pre-pledge. Is it still going on?
Yes.
Okay.
And in fact, uh, we will take pre-pledges all the way through the Kickstarter. And at this point, so the pre-pledge campaign, we had 6 months. I went out to the community day one after revealing the contract to the people in the Discord, and then saying, "Hey, this is what's going on. Um, I'm setting up a spreadsheet that only I can access. I mean, everyone can look at, but only I can edit, so that people don't mess with other people's pledges. Um, we want to get at least $10,000, so 2i says that we can go ahead with this project. Within 24 hours, we had $18,000 pledged, and we've actually hit 32,000
Yeah.
pre-pledged at this point. And we've collected about 20,000 of it. At this point, people can pay their pre-pledges if they want the promos and the gift card early. But if people want, they're allowed to pre-pledge and not pay their pledge and just forego getting the gift card. And then as long as they provide documentation at the Kickstarter that they pledge at least the amount that they pre-pledged for any new backers at this point, because that really works as marketing as well,
Hmm.
to have a bunch of people pledge at the Kickstarter,
Yeah.
then I'm still happy to toss the promos that would go with those tiers to them for free. If people want to avoid that headache at the Kickstarter, the promos will be available for purchase as add-ons. It's like $25 for the set of the 3 new ones, or 80 for the 3 foils, um, which is a slight discount over just buying them individually. But people can get them for free if they lock in a pre-pledge and then follow through with pledging at least that much and paying that much at the Kickstarter. Or like I said, if they want the gift card, if they want the promos mailed out now, they can pay it before if they want. But I'm not making people pay at this point
So
because enough has been collected.
so when 2i sees that they're asking, can we even get enough people together for 10,000? When they see that you tripled that, did they say anything? Was there any comment back from them?
Absolutely. Our negotiations for the follow-up contract occurred much faster than 6 months. We'll
Awesome.
say, we'll put it that way. When we had passed the goal within 24 hours, they were negotiating the new contract within a month, um, for the actual Kickstarter.
Awesome.
Um, which what is in line for the Kickstarter right now is 2i is the face of the Kickstarter. They are the big power player in it, and for everything that sells, they get a royalty for every card printed. So that's their stake in this. And they are coordinating the return of several original artists that are still willing to work with the project. It's been actually really amazing. I didn't expect nearly as much original team support to pop up again, but I was chatting Matt Holmberg earlier today via Messenger. Hannah Goodman is actually flying out from New York to the first con booth for 2i in Utah on February 29th, which is tentatively the day that we will launch the Kickstarter, as long as everything has fallen into place by
Is there
then.
going to be like a Magi-Nation? Is there going to be like a Magi-Nation booth there in Utah? Is
Yeah,
it going to like actually have
yep.
like
So,
product and things? Well, not product, but like images and things like that.
yeah. So we have Hannah Goodman, original artist, coming out. We have Adam Clerman, who is a new age Magi-Nation artist. The two of them together did the art for the Artemilius card and the Anastasia card that you've seen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that is both a new artist that did the line art and a original team artist that did the coloring for those two.
Well, they look
Um,
spot on. They look really really good.
yeah, so they will both be coming out to table at the convention, which is SaltCon. It's a small to mid-sized board game convention in Utah.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the first in-paper tournament sanctioned by 2i in 2 decades is going to be held that first day of con after the vendor hall closes from like 6 to 8:30. Um, we have $10 decks from the store that we're going to be giving away for free there if people do make it out. I don't know if any of your viewership is in Utah, but you can let them know.
Okay, I will for
Um,
sure.
and we'll be handing out the $10 decks that we would normally sell as a giveaway and punting people to the Kickstarter so that as many people as possible show up there. And then people will be using those decks in the tournament for prizes that evening.
That is incredible. It's so amazing that this game, like there's no time in my adult past being in middle school and once it left that I'd ever think that we'd be back here. And so this is just incredible. So like
Well,
and it's so
and
cool to hear like an actual like official in-place tournament, like cards being printed. It's like really happening. Like that's
yeah,
just so cool. So thank
and
you very much for getting this all together.
it's really weird that like I hadn't even really followed a lot of information about the original artists because I discovered the game a few years after it died.
Hmm.
When one of my friends introduced me to it, and I just had a blast with it and played for decades after that with my friends. But I wasn't ever in the main tournament scene up front or whatever. But I've found since then that Matt Holmberg and Rich Warner were both like some of the lead artists on Plants vs. Zombies or other really big projects that have gone amazingly stellar. And I still talk to Matt and Rich and Hannah, and I've talked to, I believe, Ryan Shreve and a couple of other original artists, and they all have said Magi-Nation has a special place for them, and they're willing to come back and work even below their own like normal artist rates because it's such an important project for them. And it's been surreal. Like
Yeah, and like you're saying, like there's just the art there, and I remember because I did look, and I don't know anybody's names here, but I did look up the main artist just because the art there, for Imagination is just so unique. It's like this like mix of like it's anime-ish, but it's like it's got a kid styled, cartoon style to it. I mean, I definitely prefer like the art for the TCGs. I never like watched the show or anything like that, but the TCG art itself was just
yeah,
incredible. So it's so
Matt
cool to hear that everyone's coming back and getting involved.
Matt Holmberg was an amazing prodigy of his time. Like he he was really a main artist for this and really what who a lot of people think of as the original Magi-Nation artist. And he was in his teens when 2i started um the Magi-Nation, and he had worked on, I want to say, like Chrono Trigger even before that, for for Square.
That
Like
is
it
so cool.
the
Yeah.
stories of the artists are just crazy.
Yeah, I
Uh,
did not know that. I knew that he did some work with Plants vs. Zombies, and but I didn't know the Chrono Trigger thing. And I mean, that just really cool to hear because it's like another awesome thing. So the Kickstarter, just getting back to that, and I don't, so and you might not be able to say any of this, but what kind of products or do any idea of like what to expect? Is it booster boxes of
Absolutely.
Trader's Reach or
So
starter decks or?
yeah, so there is a current live tournament up on the Discord playtesting the different region decks against each other. And when I say region decks, I mean that there is a box deck for every region planned out. Trader's Reach had 3 Magi released for every region except for Universal, um, which made it fairly easy to put together a stack of those 3 Magi and build decks around them using all of the new release cards, plus old starting cards and other cards thrown in for balance. Like, for example, there is a new Narum Magi that works really well with Balaments. She gives 2 energy to all your Balaments in play. So there are a couple of Balaments that came out in the new set, plus the deck has a couple copies of old Balaments, Balament Pups, Lava Balaments, so that it's balanced to be fun to play. Um, Now, the decks are not necessarily like top tier tournament meta. If you were to go to Worlds with one of them, you might win a round or two because they're actually pretty decent in construction. But there's a pool of thousands of cards at this point that
Mm.
that you're running into. But they are definitely geared to be fun playable against each other. So if your friend group only has access to what's from the Kickstarter, you're going to have a blast playing against each other with these decks, especially if you pull apart a couple of the universal decks and feed them into the other decks to give yourself variation. Um, on top of that, uh, they're fully backward compatible, meaning you can go out and get other cards even outside this that you could shuffle into your deck and still play with them. That said, for the Kickstarter, ev- at $10,000, we can release a region. The planned first region is universal for a couple of reasons. There's never been an official universal deck, so it would be the first Magi-Nation universal deck. Second of all, you can tear it apart and put it in any other region because it's the one region that can be used with no regional penalty from others. So it is a good first release, and it gives an iconic ability to come back. The planned Magi stack for that one is Tony Jones,
Mm.
the original
Oh
protagonist of
wow.
the Game Boy,
Uh-huh.
um, Tuku,
Raj. Uh,
one of the promo Universal Magi, and an unreleased Magi, not even in the Trader's Reach set, but in the list of spoiled cards that would have come even later. An alternate Rage Legend
mm.
um, is the third Magi that is being released together in this stack. And then the stack focuses on constructs. So you'll see cards like Rage's Construct, Colossus, Colosset, Nightmare Construct, a whole bunch of big universal construct cards. And it focuses on utility and protection of your cards and just running through the opposition. It has some of the big chase cards like Rage's Belt, um, and Warrior's Boots.
Oh,
There's a copy of
so
each
there's
in
going to
that.
be so there will be reprints.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, awesome. Okay, really cool.
So the decks have old cards included, um, in order to be playable.
Got it, got it.
Because if you just grab the list from Trader's Reach, you may get close to the 40 cards, but it would be junk.
Okay.
like
Yeah.
because they're not meant to be played that way together.
Hmm.
But when built with a little bit more care, it definitely works out such that you can play the deck very well. So there will be reprints in the decks themselves. The
Okay.
decks right now are slated to be fixed content. Um, $10,000 to unlock the first deck, 5,000 after that for every new region unlock until it hits all 13 at about $70,000.
Ooh,
Um,
nice, 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 nice. Okay. Yep.
every 2,500, so the break between the unlock, the deck that just unlocked will have a random foil from the deck added as an additional card. So it will not replace a card in it. You would get your deck plus one of the cards in the deck will be a foil included with it.
That's awesome.
Um, then, so those are the pledge tiers all the way up to about 70,000. Um, after
Anything
that,
beyond, yeah, anything beyond that.
yeah, after that, 2i has authorized the release of booster boxes if we hit 250,000, which is really the minimum at which printers will even look at doing randomized boosters
Hmm.
because it's a lot of work for them. Um, but as long as the campaign hits 200,000, then booster boxes will of old sets all the way through Trader's Reach would be made available. And the plans for that aren't 100% finalized, but
Hmm.
it's likely that it would be a booster box with boosters of like 3 regions and Universal instead of all 13 regions. So if
Hmm.
someone's chasing a underneath card, they'll know that they can get the underneath Kalden Kaibar's booster, and they're more likely to get it there than they would if they had to hunt down which set it was originally released in, make sure it's still there.
Yeah. So,
Um,
so I only have about 5 minutes left. I didn't
okay,
really even know that this was you only get so much time with Zoom, I guess. But so I just want to let you know I only got 5 minutes. But that is
no
so
problem.
exciting to hear. Even just getting the decks together, put together like that, up to 70 is cool. Yeah, I'm so excited if we could actually get booster boxes like that would make me freak out. So I really hope we can make that happen as a community, and that's really really cool to hear that. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to get in here. Is there any so if this, let's say this happens, it's a success. Is there any talk or any thought of any additional after Traders Reach content from Magi-Nation, or is this kind of the
Yes.
one and done deal?
So so 2i had already finished the writing for a set called Daybreak after Trader's Reach, but not the art. We have a contract in place that will allow for payment of artwork um, all the way through finishing Daybreak at least, and potentially continuing on after that if it keeps steamrolling past. But that would be the next duel. So Traders Reach box decks first, then re-release of old content, and if there's still money, finish Daybreak, and then at that point we're free to go forward from there. There is a team at Ghoulworks LLC that is running card creation and artwork vetting and all of that stuff, and turning over final products to 2i for me to make sure that it's the quality that they want before anything's released.
Great. Yeah, it's really cool to hear that there's a lot of thought being put into the quality, because it would suck to have it come out and then there's like bad card stock or whatever. So it is cool to hear that y'all are really considering that as well. I have a couple more. Are you wearing a Magi Nation hat? I can't really see. Oh,
Um,
yep.
yes.
There it is. Yeah. I guess I was like that's got to be it. That's awesome, man. Just wanted to say thank you so much for putting this together. This like really has me excited. My channel, I'm here to help. If there's anything I can do, let me know. I'll be here definitely talking about more Magi Nation stuff. This is super exciting. I'm really glad I started this channel It just like happened to coincide with this happening, so it really makes me excited. So that's really cool. Is there so where should people follow up with you, or to stay on board, and also Arcanist Arm? Any plugs you want to throw in here for the for yourself?
Honestly, this isn't my show today right now, so I'll leave. Our stuff speaks on its own. People can look it up if they want. But for this, the best thing right now is to hit the notify me on launch for the Kickstarter and follow it there. 2i does have a mailing list. Their website is in the last steps of being finished. If people by next week probably go, they should be able to pull up mnduel.com. So mnduel.
Mm-hmm.
And that will be active. It'll have links to the store, it'll have links to the Kickstarter campaign, and just more information about the team, links to the rules for people that are unfamiliar with the game. And
Okay.
at the bottom, there's a scroll that people can click that lets people sign up for the mailing list.
Awesome. Yeah, that's all really great to hear. Sherrick, thank you so much for coming on the channel and filling us all in on what's going on here. So once again, thank you very much and super excited. I just want to say thank you all for watching. You have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Governor Jesse Ventura, to send you, Devin, a little bit of a message, my friend. You need to quit slacking. You, I heard lately, have been skipping your workouts. What's going on, my man? You want to turn into a little fat porker?